things kind of loosened up in the fourth. How would you compare, kind of what happened in those first three periods to what you were able to do in the fourth?
As far as me, I just loosened up. I was uptight looking at the D-line through the first three quarters, and that kind of screwed us as offense as a whole. And that's on me, so that's probably what changed the most.
Did they show you any looks in the secondary that you weren't expecting, or what were you seeing out there when you were looking downfield earlier in the game?
They showed us exactly what we thought we were going to see. I mean, we thought we'd see a little more split safety, but that was the coverages we thought we were going to see, and we saw them.
Sure. And given how competitive you guys were against USC, are you surprised that the game transpired the way that it did tonight?
Yeah, yes, sir, we are.
What were you expecting coming in?
We were expecting to win. We don't want to lose. We don't want to be blown out. We're expecting to win, and we thought we were going to win. We're prepared like we were going to win, and we need to win. So sucks because we want to win. We're expecting to win. We thought we were going to win. Prepared like we were going to win, and then we lose. So.
Thank you.
Alec White, next question.
Yeah, I'm just curious what you think was kind of building off of what Michael Lev asked. Just what was the reason you think that the offense in that the first half especially didn't just look out of rhythm? Was there something that Washington did that you guys weren't expecting? It just seemed like things seemed out of sync, missing a couple throws that you usually are able to connect with guys on.
Yeah, I mean, we just couldn't get that. We'd get the first down, and then we would stall. It was that second first down we couldn't get. And I was looking, like I said, I was looking at the D-line. I was worrying about pressure, and that screwed us as offense because I wasn't stepping in my throws. I was fading away. And it would stall our drives every time.
And then on a positive side, what was it like in that fourth quarter to see Majon Wright and then Michael Wiley both get their first collegiate touchdowns?
I'm happy for them. They're working their tail off. They're great players. They're D1 players, and they get their first touchdown. They're excited. It sucks, a loss and everything, but I'm excited for them. They deserve it. Seems
like Majon's a really talented athlete. What do you like about being able to throw the ball to him?
His drive as a football player. He's a football player. He's not some guy that's out there to be on the camera or anything. He wants to be on the field catching balls. He's a player. He's a dog. He's gonna get in your face. He's gonna beat you off the press and stuff like that. That's what's impressed me the most.
Thank you.
Sure.
Justin Spears, next question.
Grant, I know you were here last year, but have you experienced a stretch like this where you're just kind of losing games?
No, sir. Not in my whole football career up until college. I have not. I don't think I've ever lost more than 2 games in the season. So this is my first time going through this, and we're doing everything we can. We're pushing. We want to win, and I'm telling you, we're going to win. It's falling into place, and it's just going to happen. When it does, it's going to click.
And how do you just kind of keep the guys motivated? And I know it's a process, but how do you just kind of, as a quarterback, how do you manage to keep everybody together during these growing pains?
It's kind of easy as a quarterback when you have guys on the whole team that want to be great, just like you do. So, I mean, it's kind of a whole group effort, staying motivated. We're all pushing to win. We want to win. Like I said, this is the worst feeling. It's embarrassing. So it's easy because we're trying to stay motivated. We're going to stay motivated.
Troy Hutchison, next question.
Grant, although you guys started off slowly in the fourth quarter, you guys were able to score 27 points. Is there a lot of positives you can take from that moving forward?
Yeah, it's good to take those points into the next game and the week, prepare for the next game. But those first 3 quarters are disappointing. But we're going to forget about this and look at the positives and negatives and use it for next week, going to the next game.
Final question for Grant, Michael Lev.
Sure, I have a couple. In a situation like that, do you want to stay in the game and try to put something positive together to kind of, like you said, generate some momentum for the following week?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay in the game. I'm not going to quit on the team because I know the team wouldn't quit on me. So I would stay in the game. Just keep pushing, make positives out of a negative, and use the positives going in next week, stuff like that.
You had mentioned during the preseason about kind of shaking off bad plays, always sort of trying to maintain a positive demeanor. The cameras on TV showed you looking kind of frustrated at times. Is that something that you feel like you still maybe need to work on?
Yeah, always. Yes, sir. I mean, I was mostly just frustrated with myself. I wasn't playing how I need to play. I was worrying about things I didn't need to be worried about. I was not making the throws. So, yeah, I was 100% just frustrated with myself, and I need to work on that. I need to play the next play.
Thank you, Grant.
Sir.
Questions for Jalen Harris, please raise your hand. Start with Michael Lev.
Jalen, given all of the discussion during the week about Washington running the ball, the coach wearing a hat that said run the damn ball, did you kind of expect them to maybe do some play action like they did or early in that game, given all of that talk?
Yeah, we expected it. We thought they would change it up a little bit because they wanted to run first, so we knew like they'd probably be thinking we were preparing for that, and so they would show play action. We just got to do our job.
Sure. How would you summarize Coach Sumlin's message to the team in the locker room after the game?
I would just say he was very positive that we have to build on this, take the positives, and remember how this feels, and just build on it. And we need to be prepared better and become better.
Sure. What do you think are the positives come out of a game like this?
As far as defense, I'd say the beginning of the game, I think we stopped the run. So I think we did a good job of that. But other than that, we just need to focus on our job and play hard.
Sure. There have been a couple times this year where you've been really close to a sack. Anthony Pandy came really close to a sack. What do you think it's going to take for you guys to take that next step and actually finish those plays?
I would say just know what's coming and be more ready. And one step away, that's the difference between a second. So we just got to be focused and keyed in on what we're supposed to do.
Thank you.
Next question, Justin Spears.
As a guy who's a leader on this defense, how do you get everyone to stay together when the score gets out of hand like that?
We got to keep playing hard and play for each other. So I think that's the most important part, and remind each other why we're playing this game. And we're all competitors, so I think we need to go hard at all times.
What's been the most disappointing part about this losing streak that you guys have been on?
I would say that we know we're good enough to play with anybody, so it's just about putting it together and doing what we need to do to get the job done and come out with a win.
Final question for Jalen, Troy Hutchison.
Jalen, what did Coach Rhodes have to say after the game today? Because you guys were able to hold Washington's offense late in the game, late in the third quarter, fourth quarter. You guys outscored them 27 points in the fourth quarter. What was his message after the game?
His message was like, we know what we have to do to fix it, and it starts with preparation. So it doesn't start on Saturday. It starts on Sunday, tomorrow. When we get back, you got to take care of your body and be ready to go and prepare for next week.
Thank you, Jalen. Please begin raising hands now for questions for Coach Sumlin. First question for Coach Sumlin will be Michael Lev.
Kevin, considering how competitive you guys were against USC, were you surprised that this game transpired the way that it did?
Of course, but you know we the way things started off, you know, it kind of snowballed from there. But you know, there's no doubt that you know, this is a good football team we played tonight. But you know, we've what you said, Mike, was coming off of last week. You know, no surprise is the word. It's disappointing. You know, we gotta coach better. We gotta handle situations on the road. All those things, and you know, that's where we are. And you know, we've got to obviously we had some issues up front with Washington on both sides. You know, they handle the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively, and you know, that really, you know, they limited us offensively with their defensive line, the rush, which, you know, took us out of some things, and you know, they're one of the better run defenses in this league. So, you know, they dominated the football game up front on both sides, which you know, led to the results.
How would you summarize your message to the team after the game?
You know, it was you know, we have to stick together as a team. You know, because as you said, you know, there's from last week to this week, you know, it's the same result, but a different football game. And so, you know, we have to go back to work as coaches and do a better job, and keep looking at where we are with personnel, and then, you know, and come back to work on Monday for another opponent.
Jason Shear, next question.
Hey, Coach. Last week against Oregon State, Washington ran the ball the majority of the time. Tonight, to open the game, they come out throwing. Did that catch you guys off guard?
Well, you know, obviously it was you know, I think if you look at, particularly in the first half, right, you know, we had some situations after they went for it on 4th and short, and we still had them in 3rd down situations. And you know, I don't have the stats here in front of me, but I think just quick peek, it was they were over 50% on 3rd down conversions, and I don't know what we were. We were like 3 of maybe 12. And you know, that's what happens with a team like this when they're able to stay on the field and convert 3rd downs, and we were not. And that was really the difference early in the football game, and as the game went on, and they were able to do that with, you know, 4-man rush. They brought blitzes a little bit later, but you know, the 3rd down conversions kept them on the field and chewed up the clock, and you know, and we were not able to convert 3rd downs really in the first half, really not until at the end of the game.
Troy Hutchison, next question.
So, Coach, what was going wrong defensively in that first half for you guys? It seemed like you were saying 3rd down conversions, but there seemed to be a lot of miscommunication in the secondary.
Well, we had some, you know, some new guys out there too, and I think, like you said, you know, they got in those situations and got into some empty sets and some bunch sets, and created some issues for us. Let's see, I got to go back and look at it. But obviously, you know, we weren't able to get to the quarterback, and gave him some time to find those spaces too. And, you know, we got limited a little bit later we're down some DBs, and, you know, playing man-to-man, you know, they got behind us. And in the zone, you know, zone coverages, you know, in 3rd down, they were working the middle of the field and getting open there. So, man, we got to go back and take a look at it and what we're doing. But certainly, you know, where we were and some other guys on the field that, because being down a couple DBs, you know, created some issues for us in the secondary.
Justin Spears, next question.
Grant was shown on TV, and he looked very frustrated, probably the most frustrated I've seen him in a game at Arizona. From your perspective, what was his emotions like throughout the game and how he handled himself?
Well, you know, I think, you know, everybody was frustrated in the first half, really for 3 quarters offensively, because, you know, we hadn't – I thought we protected our protection would be better. And, you know, they teed off and got to him even when he got the ball off and hit him and flushed him, and some things that he really hadn't really happened to him. So, you know, and then to be able to take the pressure off and run it, obviously, you know, we weren't able to do that either. So, yeah, I you know, he was frustrated but, you know, he kept plugging and you know, hopefully that's something that, you know, in the growth process that he's going to learn from.
Alec White, next question.
Yeah, Coach, along the lines with the growth part of Grant, he was saying that early on in the game, especially in the first half, his eyes when he was in the pocket would drop down and look at the defensive line and the oncoming rush. Is there a coaching? Is that more on coaching of teaching a kid to keep his eyes downfield, or is that more on Grant to just
No,
develop
that's the situation, and that's, I mean, that the pocket was getting pushed back into him. You know, when we were in 5-man protection, we started helping with the back a little bit later, which helped the protection. But, you know, with where he was and trying to push up in the pocket sometimes, and, you know, they were pushing it right back into his lap. So, you know, that's an issue too, right? That's the issue we had tonight with our pass pro, and then being able to take some pressure off by being able to run the ball. We didn't do that either. And, you know, Washington, as I said before, they control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and when that happens, you know, the result's never good.
Next question, Michael Lev.
You swapped out some offensive linemen later in the game. Is that an area where you might look to change personnel heading into next week?
You know, no, I think, you know, we got to, as I said, I got to look at it, but obviously we had some issues up there with really, particularly in pass pro and being able to run it. And, you know, at that point, you know, when you're having those types of issues with sacks and hitting the quarterback and not being able to run the ball effectively as we've done, you know, it was time to give another guy a chance. And, you know, that's something we'll look at, but obviously from one week to another, it was very, very different tonight. And we gave some of those guys a chance, some of the young guys on both sides of the ball a chance to go in there. And obviously it was against, you know, their second. So you have to take that with a grain of salt too. So, you know, but we did swap out some guys in this game and gave them an opportunity to play, and we'll take a look at it.
Sure. Both sides of the ball, you functioned a lot better in the fourth quarter. You know, at that point, of course, I mean, the game is pretty much decided. But what do you take out of something like that, and is it something you can use as momentum heading into next week?
Well, yes and no. I mean, individually, you know, for some of those young guys that came in there and played, there's some confidence that they can get out of it. You know, from some of the as you said, some of the linemen that were in there, obviously, and some of the young D linemen that got in and really for the first time, you know, that they can get some confidence out of it. But obviously, there's a reason why the backups are in there, and so the most important thing is to come back to work on Monday with those guys that were playing early in the game and get their confidence to the level it was a week ago, and because the young guys who went in there, that's I think they gained a little bit just because of playing and their situation in their time, and having some individual success, but it's all about the team, right? And that's where our work has to get done this week.
Thank you, everybody. That's all the time we have for tonight.